G'day guys, got a good one for you. Decided to um, point out how to do a few simple modifications on your own detectors. This modification actually increases the sensitivity to smaller gold, and it actually helps quite a bit. Very small gold close to the coil. I've tested it myself. I've only done it with the 0.05, and I actually would estimate maybe I doubled the depth on that tiny little bit of gold. So it's not going to be double the depth on big stuff out, you know, a foot or so under the coil. No, it's not going to happen. But it'll start bringing the sensitivity up to some of the newer detectors. First of all, this is just I think this is the board that came off a quad bike and bit the ground and never worked ever again. It actually shattered a lot of the tracks on the board, and it's basically, we had to go fixing it. I think it belongs to the brother of one of Australia's most famous prospectors, and we'll just say over in Kalgoorlie area somewhere, maybe over that way. Well, Perth. Anyway, it's a well-known name, but anyway, I'm not going to say it. Now, on these detectors, they have a couple of inductors on the input, directly off the coil. On the receive lines, I put a black dot on it. Can you see that? That one there, there's one there as well. If I get close enough, I'll be able to see it myself. And if you see next to it, there's a couple of little silver dot points. They're under the white paint. I've just scraped them up. So right next to the inductors, there's a couple of silver things there. Basically, they are connections, surface mount connections for something that probably was meant to go there. It never did. I don't know. Normally with inductors on an input stage, you really want to put a resistor in parallel, because it can cause funny effects, believe it or not, if it's not calculated properly with the amount of stray capacitance, the amount of inductance, what you're trying to do. But actually it does attenuate the signal. So on here, that one there and the one next to it over here, what you do, scrape the paint off the front and back of them so you get onto their connections, heat them up so they fall off the board. You don't want them there. Or the other thing is, you can leave them there, and on those little solder points, which is just above the screwdriver tip there, you can bridge them out with a little tiny dab of solder, and that then shorts out the inductor. So the signal's not going to go through the inductor, it's just going to go straight through the solder blob, or put a very, very fine wire there. You don't want a lot of solder blob there, or metal, because it actually can have a signal hit it and it generates eddy currents because it's of a bigger size. You don't want that to happen. You just want to have minimal, thin wire, like a hair, human hair size wire. And if you don't want the big lumpy bumpy inductor there, you can heat them up and drop them off the board. You can solder across where the inductor was with a hair wire, or just a two connection next to it. They're both the same. There's no difference electrically, so just short the thing out. It'll give you a lot more small gold sensitivity. It's very simple to do. For me it is. It's very simple. Might be harder for you if you have never done it before. Get someone competent to do it. Just show them the video and just point out those things there with the black on them. So yeah, it's going to be difficult to do like this, but yeah, there's two of them there, one on each channel, because these things are dual input channels. One there, and all you need to do is short those out, and do it with the minimal amount of solder or wire. Don't go put a great whopping match head size blob there. That's about the size of a small gold target. It may generate eddy currents between switching cycles and upset the detector. Make sure you use stuff all metallization on doing that. There's a lot more you can do with these, but you know, should I give away all the trade secrets? You know, I just look at that and I go, that needs changing, that needs changing, that needs changing, that needs changing, changing. And you can look under the board and you go, that needs changing, that needs changing. So there's a heap of stuff you can change on these and make them more sensitive. You know, that's part of the way of fixing them up. But there's other things as well. And most of the other things to fix them up is locked up in the code in that thing there. So unless you can hack into that, which you know, as far as I can see, I don't know if anyone really can. I mean, the Chinese have the 4500 code, and yeah, been playing around. As you can see too, this is a 4500 board. It's only got the single row of inductors and capacitors there, where the 5000 boards have another row up here for an 8-volt rail. But there's also parts missing off here as well, not on this board, but on the 5000 board they used 4 4500s, work that one out, and 5000s. Yeah, they actually redid the board, and there was another row of components right there, 4 components in line with these ones here. So that is the story. Now, I just had a message from Andy, who I did a 45 for, and it's on the phone. Like, oh, actually, I can get it up on the computer. Rather than tell you, how about you read it yourself, right? Now, I'm going to have to move a few things around and pull the chair with me, but I'll get it up on the computer. It's good too, because I've got the heater over here. So, hang on, I'll just bash the chair into the bloody tripod, like I do. I'll fire the computer up and I'll get you the message directly. I don't want to restart it, thank you. Where is it? It's funny. It came up on Messenger. It's not here. Why isn't it here? Hang on a second. I don't want to show my job sheets. Oh, I don't want to show any of that either. Yeah, I started getting into share trading again. So just as an interest, guys, 7 years ago, I bought a whole heap of stock in AR9, which is a company called Archtis. Yeah, ARCHTIS. And yeah, I knew the game plan of the company, and yeah, I bought a fair whack of shares in it ages ago, and it's quite interesting. In the last few days, it's gone up about 300%. So the old stock picking is still alive and well. So yeah, they're in suspension at the moment. Yeah, anyway, don't ask me about that. I'll go on. But hang on, I want to get rid of this. And if I refresh the messenger, come on, flick up. God. It's funny, it's on the phone, it's not on here. Oh, hang on, it might be on my other account. Hang on, I'll just, it might be on that one. I'll try that one there. Come on, whizzy, turn around. Here it is, found it. Okay, okay, hang on, I've got to get rid of a whole. How do I do this without exposing people? I'll make it big and I'll move it over and I'll cross I'll just shove it off. Oh, I can't even do that. I'm trying to push it off screen a bit, right? Yeah. Okay, there's a lot of stuff. I can't get rid of it. Damn it. There's a heap of people there too who probably don't want their names put all over the internet. Okay. Okay. Right. Okay, I'm going to read this to you anyway. I'm not going to, well, I'll read it direct. I can show you part of it, I suppose, but I can't go too far around. You can probably read that yourself. I don't want to go on all the names and things, but anyway, it's a right in there. Finally had a play with the 45 at Linton today. Couldn't find deep ground, but itching to take it to the Denali area. Tested it with a 4-gram nugget and absolutely smashed it over the 6,000. I can see how awesome it will be on huge nuggets. So that's from a fellow who's actually had a lot of work done on detectors from us over a bit of time. So there you go. Modified 45 on a 4-grammer smashes it over a 6,000. Because I know he's got a 6,000. I know he's got a 45 too, because I did them. But to give yourself a bit of an edge here, I'm getting back over here. I'm being like Davros off that English sci-fi, whatever it's called. Like, you know, the guy in the chair. You know, the leader of the Daleks. Anyway. So, yeah, basically on this 4500 board, you can do a lot of stuff to it. There's a lot you can do. Pity we can't get into the software. If we could get into the software on this, we could make magic, absolute magic, because all the detectors out there, no matter what they are, they're all basically the same. They all operate the same. They just got different components and different levels of filtering, different techniques of filtering. They're all the same. You know, it's like cars, you know. They're all the same. They've all got 4 wheels. Some have more than 4, but 4 wheels, an engine, be it you know, fossil fuel powered or electric powered, same overall thing. And metal detectors are the same overall thing. They detect metal, and you know, basically, you know, you can look at this. There's a stack of. You could spend a lot of time doing one of these boards up, a lot of time, and I'm talking easy, a solid week of work replacing a lot of things on it. So it basically could be redesigned, but you don't want to be stuck utilizing the same software for it. You'd really want to develop your own software, and you'd want to make it user friendly. And what I mean by saying user friendly is user adjustable, right? Because so many of the functionality in timings is just locked. You know, it's like, you know, you'll have a pulse, you'll have a bit of off time, you'll have damping come in at a given time, a given time period, and you'll have the receiver turn on for a given time period. But all those things, if they were all adjustable, you could absolutely fine tune your detector to the max for the type of coil, the size of gold you're chasing, the type of you know, dirt, how reactive the dirt is, the overall everything you're looking at. You could get in there and fiddle it all using a test target on the ground, of course, and go over, sweep, and adjust each bit of functionality to get the biggest, best, clearest return signal. And with these designs, you can't do it because you can't adjust it. It's you know, it's just fixtures. You can't adjust it. You know, when we put variable frequency in these, it does adjust the whole lot all as one. The transmit pulse goes like this. The dead time goes like this. and the receive on goes like this, and the damping does this a bit too. So even though you can speed it up, get those the receiver turning on earlier to get smaller gold, you really want to adjust it each one separately, and you just can't. There's nothing out there really, except for some backyard projects that can adjust that functionality. With these detectors, you can't. All of them you can't. They're just not allowed to happen, because if you did that, you'd probably have the next model in your hands, right? You think I'm joking, don't you? But if you can actually program in your own timings, you'd probably have every variation of detector there is, from a 2000 to something like a 6. Because if you have a look at them, they all just run different timings and spacings and way things come in. And obviously there's differences in the signal processing, trying to get the noise out, and trying to, separate, the baby from the bathwater. Don't throw the baby out of the bathwater. Just adjust things so you can keep what you want, and you can get rid of the rest. So there's big scope still. There is big scope in having a user adjustable detector on all fronts. And you can probably look at the 6000. It's very simple. Set it and go. Great. If you've got no idea of how things work, well, that's good. You get out there straight away and go detecting. Gold monster, same things. How basic, away you go. But there's a lot more fiddle features on a 7000, but mainly modes. But you can't really adjust anything in regards to any of its timings. Probably not that you really want to, but in some circumstances it would be an advantage, especially if it ran non-dongled coils, so you can not spend a fortune and just get 2 receive coils and a transmit coil in one housing, and you can play forever, unless you build a dongle up, and then you can do it. But there's a lot of like X coils do. Give them a plug. They dongle from a coil, and you can run any coil you want. So the thing is, a lot of the differences, and people say, oh, this, I'll say it as it is. I've got no bias. I don't care. I'll just say it. But a lot of the differences are out there. You have a look at what people are using, and you've got say for the 7000, you've got that horrible 19-inch thing that wants to dislocate your shoulder. And you've got smaller ones, of course, smaller 14 coils, which are better. But then you get the X coils, who make very small type coils, 11-inch coil. And obviously it's going to be as sensitive as almighty on small gold. And everyone's going, oh, the X coil's the way to go. Yeah, because you're comparing it with a 14. But then, the other two crowds have made coils as well. So maybe it's not so hot to trot as we once thought. Maybe they're all much of a muchness now. But guys, if you really wanted to, you can make your own coils for a 7000. It is not difficult. You just got to know what you're doing. All you need is a shielded Litz wire for the receive, and on the transmit you can just run a transmission line. It doesn't care. So just a twisted pair of Litz type cable. It's going to be Litz. You can't just use thick cable, which is all copper, all touching each other. It won't work. But if you use a Litz type cable and a separate Litz shielded receive line, and you want to do the proper grounding too, on a separate earth return from the shield, and don't connect it to any other connection there. That's how you make it. It's not that damn hard. It's a matter of doing it, having the the gonads, the brass monkeys, to actually go and do it. The receive coils can be very, very fine Litz wire. Doesn't have to be the same as a transmit. Transmit, you probably want fairly thick Litz wire. You might even want to go, instead of having like a total cross-sectional area of about 1 millimeter, you probably want to go to about 1.2. You can get a bit more current and give it a bit more oomph into the ground. It's neither here nor there. That was me just covering up a burp. So, yeah, so if I make, if I go like that, yeah, I don't want to burp on camera. It's a bit obnoxious. So, I'm just thinking. No, it's not that hard to do. It really is. And the receive coils, just run them in series, and one in phase, one anti-phase, and who cares which way the main coil is, as long as if it plays up, you just change the phase of the other two, just swap them around. So there's heaps of stuff I can go on about and tell you how to make really, really good coils for your 7000s, and you can make really big coils for your 7000. No one's really made a big lightweight coil, and that would be the magic, wouldn't it? Because it operates like a double D, is the way the wires cross over from transmit to receive. It would be super sensitive on small gold, so you would never lose that. You won't lose that functionality, but you can make it so it punches deeper. And that's, I found, was a limitation, even using the 19-inch coil. If you look at videos I've done years and years ago, they are there. People say I don't go and do field tests. Yes, I did. I did heaps of field tests. I was out at Talbot probably for every couple of days, a week at one stage, doing testing, and on the big, the 1.2 meter or 4 foot odd holes and different targets, and you'll see Jason's with me, David's with me on various occasions. Someone called him Old Mate. It was with me. Yeah, Old Mate was with me. I'll leave it there. I won't say the name. And I'll talk about Old Mate. I'm not joking, right? This is probably about a month ago. I pulled into the APCO service station to get some diesel fuel, right? And I pulled up behind this car, and I was waiting, and I realised it was Old Mate, and I was going, oh no, I hope he doesn't see me. So on the dash of the car, I was driving. I had this in the middle of winter. It's overcast, and I quickly grabbed sunglasses, some aviators, and put them on, right? And I pulled the sun visor down so it cut off part of my head. And Chari's sitting next to me going, what are you doing? I said, that's, who? And she went, oh, so it is. So she knew who it was. And yeah, he didn't recognise me, thank God. And yeah, got in his car and drove away. But yeah, it's just that someone said something about, he called him Old Mate in the videos from years ago, and I said, yeah, I know who you're talking about. But yeah, quite funny actually, if you knew the whole situation. Yeah, I'm not going to say any more about it. But that was quite amusing. So yeah, we have done all those old test videos, and we were using, if you read the videos, have a look at the comments. People say, oh, you don't know how to set up the 7000, you're not doing this right, you're not doing that right, I mean, come on, we tried all the modes, we tried everything. And the 4500, the modified 4500, we're using squashed, have a look at the videos, they're there. We're using squashed up alloy cans as targets because it's close to gold. It's not as bad as iron, but it's getting there. I could have made an alloy mix and get the same sort of effect, but we just used squashed up cans. And alloy cans, when they're squashed up, sound much like gold anyway. If you have ring pulls and stuff like that, they go off like a bomb. It's just they generate heaps of eddy currents. Squashed up cans don't. Full cans will. Squashed up stuff, nah. Too many nooks and crannies and hard to get around. It doesn't generate a lot of eddy currents. It minimises it down. So squash cans, great to use as test targets. But the 4500 would get it with a 17, what was it, 17 by 13 coil. I could get it down at 1.2 metres with the modified 4500. 7,000, crickets, nothing, zero, nada, nothing at all. It was like, it was a tickle of a ground noise, if anything, and you would never stop on it. So that's when I tried different coils on 1.2 metres with that detector, running long pulse on it. And even I ran a 25-inch mono coil, a commercial one. The signal was really, really weak. And I'm going, it should be a lot stronger than this. And it just goes to show that a big coil sometimes on something like a squash Coke can doesn't really give a good signal. What I found the best signal from was a 20-inch. So a 20-inch mono coil on a squashed up Coke can at 4 feet or 1.2 metres, buried in the ground, in the hole, was better than a bigger coil, and was on par with the 17, which really was interesting. And that is probably, it has a more concentrated electromagnetic field rather than being from a really big coil and very dispersed. So you got to look at some of this stuff. You can sort of say to yourself, well, I'll go use a great big whopping coil and, that'll go really deep, but it just doesn't, not enough field lines hit the target to energize it enough to send out a really big thumping return signal. It's just because of the diffusion of the field, and you really want to concentrate it in on something. Now, if that Coke can was the size of a loaf of bread, now you're talking a total different story, right? The 25-inch coil would give a far better signal on something of that size. So, it's not using a great big coil is going to get you all the gold under it. It's going to be a step backwards if the gold is smaller than what the coil can actually do over that depth. And how the magnetic field, electromagnetic field, is generated. If it's really big and goes down, you got stuff under the coil, that big, and it may not even register it. And you go to something like a 14-inch coil and it'll blow your ears off. So I always see people going over ground with what I call, people hate me saying this, but I'll say it, compromise coils, which is coils that are flat wound or differently wound in a way to try to act like this and act like that all at the same time. It doesn't act like this, it's partially that, and it's partially that, and it's partially everything else as well. So they are compromise coils, guys. Always said, and if people look back at my previous videos, the most efficient coil. And you can look at this as a guideline, right? You could say, well, what if we squash them out and we make them higher and we do this? Yeah, you can do all that, just depends. But most efficient coil is, if you look at it the way it's wound around, equal height, equal width. Okay? So it can be round, so it's equal like that, or you make it an equal square, like that, as it goes round with the winding. As soon as you start pulling those windings out like this, it's no longer that, what it was, and now you're making it partially that. And it's not totally efficient at that, and it's not totally efficient at that. It's a compromise, and that's what they are. All the new coils, they're going, it's a say a 14-inch or a 12-inch, whatever it may be. And, it'll be, 14-inch coil like so, but the windings go in, and it might be a 10-inch coil here. So you're going to put a small target near it. It's really close to the windings, and it's going to go woo woo, and you get a bigger target, and it's getting it from the outer winding as much, because the inner one can't get down there. It just doesn't have the how would you say? It just doesn't have the right layout to do that. It doesn't. It starts acting like a small coil, and that energy gets dissipated here on target further down. You don't get it. So it's relying on the outer windings, which you've shoved half the energy into this flat winding, which goes in, and this one here doesn't have enough energy to really do deep stuff. It's half-hearted, to say for a better word. I was going to say something else, but like the rear of a horse or something. But that's the thing. You're giving up this for in here. In here does this. Out here is doing that, and this is doing nothing. So they're compromised coils. Great. Oh, look how sensitive it is. Yeah, of course. Go, have a look at the inner winding, and then make a real coil that round, and then go over the same target. It'll blow your ears off. And so they're compromised coils. I don't care what anyone says. It's exactly what they are. Magic names and all the rest of it. I don't care. Like I said, I have no affiliation with any of them. I've asked for, could you lend me a coil? No, basically, you talk to any of these people out there, and to put it politely, I think you never hear much as a return. You never get contacted. I think they just do this, right? They just give you that, but you're not seeing it. They don't do it to your face, but just ignore it and hope you go away. So it's quite funny, but there's a lot of. I'll tell you this right now, right? There is a lot of affiliations out there between people that run around making these things, right? And various outfits. And they, what could I say? I was trying to say it politely, over promote, right? And the other thing too, I'll tell you what, guys, I don't like really saying this because it's really bad on the industry, but there's so many nuggets out there where people go along. I got told a story, and I believe the story because I know the guy who told me. He wouldn't lie. But, people bury nuggets. They bury them and cover it up, and they pretend they find them while they're out detecting. There's a few of them out there. They do that. And all that is done to create excitement, because normally most people go out there detecting and find nothing but lead shot and the odd piece of steel and that. It's true. It is true. It's not. You don't go out there and find gold all the time. You've got to be a real, bit of a lucky fellow to find gold all the time, and probably go to areas that no one has ever been on, like farmers' paddocks that if you walk on it, they take the shotgun out and chase you off. But there is so much scamming out there and BS, right? That it just makes the mind boggle. Like, I could tell you about, everyone's favourite show that was on normal TV, and those people involved told me exactly what happened. Drama. It's all make believe. It's all scripted. It's bizarre. So I don't watch those shows anymore. They absolutely. They told me exactly what goes on, and I was absolutely devastated. I said, "What do you mean? I'm just watching a whole heap of con," and they go, "Yeah." So anyway, I'm not saying what shows because they'll probably try and sue me, but you can leave it to your imagination, can't you? But it's true. I'm not going to say anyone's names because it would cause issues for them, and it would just cause issues everywhere. It'd blow up, and I would get dragged into it, so I can't do it. But I'll tell you, there's a lot of BS out there, right? If you don't see anyone jacking out a gold nugget with a jackhammer out of hard concrete ground or calcrete, don't believe it. If it just comes out the ground, don't believe it. It's it's planted. It's done for theatre. It's done for views, and it's done to make money from YouTube advertising. That's all it is. It's just rubbish. So a lot of it just drama. So don't believe it, So what can I say? Gee, I probably pissed a lot of people right off. I don't care, I don't care. And especially with coils, I probably pissed a lot of people right off too, because they're all out there, making new coils, and you can't get your word in on it. They won't let you test one, because if you go and do a proper test and then compare it with comparable size coil, the comparable coil will absolutely eat it for breakfast. It's just the way it is. It's physics, guys. You can't get a free lunch out of a metal detecting coil. But I will tell you, there is a way of doing it to get a free lunch out of a metal detecting coil, and none of them have cottoned on to what it is. And I haven't said it. I never will say it, actually. But it can be done, and it would really upset the industry, especially if I decided, if I wanted to, go and put a patent on it, because it hasn't been done. I know for a fact it hasn't been done. But maybe I should ask if anyone out there is interested in going halves and halves on a patent. Contact me, because I've done patents before. I had something like 20 or 30 innovation patents. I even got contacted by Colgate to go over to the US about a antibacterial toothbrush with light pipes in it for UV sterilisation, and I didn't want to go to the US at the time, so didn't go. I wasn't interested. So you can probably look it up in the archives of the Australian patent place, whatever they call themselves now. It had some name, but we got real patents as well. But that's all to do with GPS satellite synchronization for multi-detector use. Been sitting there for a while, but you can go look that up as well if you want. It's it's in every country of the world. It's even, I think I've said before, it's even patented in China, Taiwan, US, UK, Africa, Europe, Australia. It's patented everywhere. So it's actually a really good idea. But as you're probably aware, we had all that system up and going, and our software engineer decided to depart the earth, and it was all encrypted. So it's you couldn't write a story about it. No one would believe it. It's dead set. It happened. It's true. So anyway, it's all back on the boil again now. It's getting redone. So hopefully no one departs the earth. But there's multiple parties on it now, so that's not going to happen unless a bomb blows up or something in there. But or something, I don't know. Everyone gets COVID and dies or something, I don't know. But it should be all right. But anyway, this was only meant to be about giving you Detector a bit of a tickle. Now, I've got to say this. Those inductors are there in the Detector for a reason. What they do is, because they're directly coming the receiver wires from the coil, and because one's on the transmit too, if you're running a double D, the other one's not, but one is. And if you're running a mono, both channels are connected together. When these detectors drop their pulse and turn off and create the flyback pulse, it's very steep, it's very sharp, and very quick, right? And that's where the danger comes from, the quickness of it. What these little inductors do, they are an attempt, or put there as to try and slow down the voltage rise going into the receiver and blowing the op amps up. Now, I've actually done tests. It'll never happen, okay? There's enough stray capacitance on the input circuit of these detectors and the way they work that it'll never happen. So you could probably safely short out those inductors, take them out of circuit or whatever, and you'll actually get, probably you'll notice it more, the improvement in performance if you're using a 5000 on fine gold. You'll get a better small gold target detection. It'll just be a little bit clearer and louder. It probably works on the other modes, but I did concentrate on fine gold, and it does make a difference. I did before and after tests, makes a difference. I've had the high-speed oscilloscope on there, making sure that we don't get any massive voltage spikes into taking out either the secondary N-channel MOSFETs, or it doesn't go past those and blow up the op amps. It doesn't do any. It's just nothing there. It makes no difference on spike suppression or anything like that whatsoever. It just increases the sensitivity. So everyone's after an increase in sensitivity. You want to get small gold, do that. So maybe over the next, I don't know, maybe in the next few months, I'll probably give away more things you can do to your detectors to make them get the performance up as well. There's a lot of parts in these detectors. We'll call them slugs. In modern standards, yes, we'll call them slugs. And with all new technology, or if you want to capture the signals, you really want thing we call an increase in slew rate, which means how fast things can turn on, or basically the rise time. A signal comes in, and if it's fast signal, like a fast decay signal, small bit of gold, you want it to go whack, whack, like, you know, and make things happen. And if you've got too much capacitance, or things can't move as fast as what the transition time period is, it might go and try and go up and fall down. And instead of having a signal that's like whack, whack, it's more like and you're not going to hear it. So, you know, there's a lot of things that can be upgraded, modernized, and different things. Like I was saying, that's why you really wanted to get into the software on these things. So you can, on the decay curve, you can actually turn the receiver on closer. You got to do changes in the damping and stuff like that. It's not that hard. All you got to do is, you know, suck it and see. That's what you got to do. You got to have a test set up, various ground, and that, and just go over it with your oscilloscope. Listen to it by ear as well, and just see what works the best, and then go in that direction and refine it. So lots of ways and means of doing it with the older detectors. But like I said, Andy out there has done comparisons between the 6000 and the 4500 we did for him, and he says, yeah, the 45 absolutely smashes it over the 6. I don't know what coils he's using. Oh, yes, I do. I do know what coils he's using. I think he has. He's got a lot of coils probably for the 45. What did he have? I think he's got a 14 mono, I think, for the 6. So, I'm trying to think, 14 mono? And he might have a new Gold Hawk or something like that, 17 by 13 or something. I can't remember. I did see it, but I see lots of coils and lots of stuff like that. But guys, just be aware of you know, glorified advertising claims, and compare that to my statement: there is no free lunch, right? Where is the deficiency, and where is the efficiency? Where is the increase? Where is the decrease? It's like you got a pizza this big and only half of it has tomato sauce on it. You know what I mean? There's something missing, and you don't know it's missing because it's you can't see under the cheese or something. It's true. It's absolutely true. You know, it's everyone wants it to be like magic, or you know, we've extracted you know, ounces of magic out of the ether and we put it into the coil. No, it's not. It's not. It's not. You know, it's just funny. But you know, I could show you something even more funny. and I want to prove it first. But I've got a coil here. It's a newer coil, right? Made by someone we're not going to mention at the moment. And it's interesting. It's meant to be a mono. It's a mono coil, but it's very sensitive. It's a round coil, but it's very sensitive at the front and back and not on the sides. And I think this is quite interesting. How can that be? Is it a round mono or is it not? Guys, any of you out there with newer coils, do an experiment with a small piece of gold and wave it over the coil, front to back and side to side. And tell me if you discover anything really weird. And I mean weird, weird. Like what I've been finding is at the front of the coil and the heel of the coil, it's super sensitive and it's really, really insensitive to that small gold on the sides of the coil, even going right in. It's insensitive. So that's what I'm saying. It's at odds to reality. It's we'll say it's round plastic, right? Or ABS, whatever it's made out of. And it's a mono round. It's called a round coil. It's mono. But it's sensitive at the front and back and not at the middle and the sides. But I'll throw that out there. You guys can play with that because, you know, maybe I'll have daggers thrown at me if I out it. But I think it's quite unusual, to put it mildly. And like I say, this is why I am unaffiliated with anybody out there, because I can say what I want. And they can say what they want, of course. And if they, you know, tell tales, I'll out them. I don't care. I've got nothing to lose on it. So I'll just tell you how it is. You know, it is what it is. There's no magic and there's no free lunch. So, God, I should do that with the coils David makes. We should call them no free lunch coils or something. I don't know. It's just funny. It really is. But, you know, to do the ground, you really need a lot of different size coils. You probably need something. If you go and look at small gold, you probably want a 6, and you probably want an 8, and you probably want a 10, and a 12, and a 14, and a 16, if you want to do the ground properly, to get all the sizes at all the depths. You can't just use one coil and say, well, I've cleaned it up. Because how come? I'll say this as well. Go and have a look at Vo Gus's latest video he's put up there. He's on YouTube. Yeah, just VOGUS. And he's out there, he's using a 6000 and he's going over areas he's been over before, right? So, and he's getting small gold. 6000 will get small gold. But he said he went over for gold monster. That will also get small gold. So what's the difference? Coil size. It's the only thing I can see. A VLF on small gold will do the same as a 6000 on small gold. 6000 will go deeper, but he's only getting surface targets. He's only getting species and things on the surface, 1 inch down or so. So, you know, I just watched that before. I was eating dinner and decided to watch. I watched a few of them, and it was just an example of I've done this area, and here's all this gold coming out still. So, you know, you're not going to clean it up with, well, you know, it's a different detector, but it's basically a different size coil. You got a coil like that, and then it's got an elliptical on it, and you know, it's got a bit more grunt, I suppose. But you know, maybe the small coil on the gold monster he wasn't overlapping sweeps and he missed them all or something. I don't know, but just interesting how, you know, one detector for surface gold doesn't get them, and another detector gets them, and they're on the surface. So. And the VLF, the gold monster's sensitive as hell. So I don't know what's going on there. But have a look at his video anyway. We'll give him a plug. Like I say, no affiliation. He's mainly does panning, but you know, he's out there detecting. And yeah, you can see it for yourself. Anyway, I want to go and I don't know. I bought some nice Irish whiskey the other night. It's at Dan Murphy's. It was $60. I had it marked down to 35. It's called Dubliner, Dubliner, Dubliner or something. And it reminds me, it's got a flavour like spicy cinnamon in it. It's really, really good. And it's $35 if you got a Dan Murphy's card. So yeah, no affiliation with Dan Murphy, but I'm just giving you a helpful hint if you want some. It's really good. You have it on ice, just sip it through the night. Beautiful. And it's got that warm spiciness to it. So yeah, give it a plug. Hope it's still on special if you go down there. Look it up online. Anyway, catch us later.